Hey, how y'all doing out there? This is Steve on Steve Sports Talk and More on YouTube. Here to talk about Matt Ryan. Now, everyone's up in arms about Matt Ryan and how he didn't place in the top 100 this year from the uh, NFL Network's countdown. Uh, to me, I wouldn't worry about it too much. If I'm Matt Ryan, you have to think about it. If you're 7-9, 2 straight years in a row, your team hasn't made it to the playoff. You hasn't had the exact special season you had over the last, at least from 2016's campaign. Then what do you expect? You're not going to be voted into the top 100. And let's face it, Matt Ryan is probably not a player favorite. I think when he came along in 2016 with his MVP year, you had to figure folks had to put him on the list. You're the MVP of the league. And I don't even think he was top 10 as an MVP. So when you think about that, think about the disrespect you get as a non-MVP that your own peers are saying that you're not number one on the list. Not number one on the list, not even making the list, as far as that's concerned. I did have it. It is very interesting, and I'm going to go over this in Facebook later on in the Atlanta Bird game section. But the rankings of some of these players, I'm almost wondering, what is it more of a almost like a popularity contest? Who hangs with who? Or whatever. Lamar Jackson, don't get me wrong, he probably deserved the accolades of 2020. And I'm pretty sure a lot of his peers, seeing his youthfulness and probably his potential, were ready to jump him up into the number one position. But boy, to have Patrick Mahomes coming off of a MVP season and then following that up with the Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP, to only come in at number 4 is pretty interesting to me. I kind of take a little bit from that. I would have easily put Mahomes at number 1, and I know they do this voting after the Super Bowl, so it's not like they don't know what just happened, but I just don't understand how they did that. Just looking at this list, the number 2 player in the NFL, Russell Wilson. As much as Russell deserves his credit, Russell was definitely an MVP candidate last year. Number 2 in the league is very interesting. Now, from a Matt Ryan standpoint, he's not in that league with those guys for the past couple of years. When you talk about quarterbacks, you look at Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson at number 2. Then it goes Patrick Mahomes at number 4. Drew Brees, even though his team was very much in the hunt all year, Drew Brees did not have a great year last year by Drew Brees standards. Now, he put up his normal numbers, but if you think about it, yeah, Drew Brees came up short quite a bit at the quarterback position. Tom Brady at number 14. No surprise. Tom will always be there when you have the hardware of 6 championships. It's kind of hard not to put you there. Aaron Rodgers, I think he's just one of those guys that's always a fan favorite. Deshaun Watson at number 20. Playoffs back-to-back. You can't deny what he's done. Now, when you start getting down to some of these other folks on the list, this is where I start getting it gets kind of interesting to me. At number 43, Jimmy Garofalo. Now, Jimmy took his team to the Super Bowl, so he definitely gets a little leverage on that. Now, do you think quarterback to quarterback he's better than Matt Ryan? Probably not, but it's just interesting to me that they would have him that high. Dak Prescott, number 46. I know he's won one playoff game, but Dak Prescott sits in the same position Matt Ryan did after his first 4 years. It's like, prove it to me. Show it to me. Show me that you're that difference maker of a quarterback. I don't think he's stirs the pot in Dallas. I think Zeke stirs the pot in Dallas. As Zeke goes, Dallas goes. So I look at that as a pretty interesting pick as well. Kirk Cousins, number 58. You can't deny his playoff win. And he had a pretty okay season with Minnesota. I don't think it was anything earth-shattering, but he did take them to the playoffs. So I'm ready to give him just a little bit of credit. At number 68, and this was really should make Matt Ryan mad. Ryan Tannehill. That's right, I said it. Ryan Tannehill at number 68. You didn't make the list, but Ryan Tannehill made the list. And he basically made the list for handing the ball off to Derrick Henry several times during the year. Josh Allen at number 87. I don't have a problem with Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen is one of those up-and-coming quarterbacks that I think, he took his team to the playoffs. You can tell he's still green, but he's somebody I think is going to be a force to be reckoned with later on. And then rounding out the quarterbacks on this list is Kyla Murray at number 90, which speaks volumes as well. Kyla Murray, his team did not do very well, but he showed little flashes that he did when he was at Oklahoma. And, folks just tend to remember what he just did. To me, that's just weak to me. I do not think he was one of the best players, at least top 100, and he definitely shouldn't be over Matt Ryan. But what does this do for Matt Ryan? Matt, this should be motivation. You should put this on the bulletin board. You should circle it, that my peers in the NFL did not think I was worth being voted on this top 100 list. Whether this was a cultural change, whether the younger generation is coming in, but you can't say that because you see Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady still high on these lists. But it does go to show you that, winning cures everything. Let Matt turn this around and go 11-5 in the division that we're in now with New Orleans and Tampa Bay, and see if he doesn't bounce back and get on this list. But for right now, I think you just sit back, take the beating, and do what you have to do. This is Steve on Steve Sports Talk and More. We'll hit you back with some more information later on. Y'all take care.